Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Tennis Manager 23. This is episode 26. I have 3 weeks until we have our next tournament. That's pushing it. I don't like going 3 weeks. It does get to that point where your form does start to fall off a little bit. But we're going to have 3 weeks in between tournaments. And at the very least, though, it's a great opportunity to get some quality training in. We're going to go pretty heavy on the first week, and then over the last 2 weeks, make sure we're balancing out the fitness to prepare us for Wimbledon. Before we get through the 3 weeks of training, I'm curious as to what level of progress we're going to be able to get. Right now, my main focus is on physical, really getting that to an elite level. Right now, we're at about 14.4, just shy of that. We'll see what we can do with that. Of course, the mental saw a healthy jump, as you may have seen at the end of last episode. Healthy jump after we made our first ever appearance in a Grand Slam and went fairly deep all the way to the round of 16 with that one, bringing our average up to a 13. Technical is definitely lagging behind a bit, but so much of that is down to those specialized skill shots that we have not gone into in any meaningful way as of yet, bringing the overall average down. Otherwise, you're looking at 13s, 14s, and 15s on all of the ones that matter, which puts them just about on par with our other attributes. But we'll see what kind of progress we can get in 3 weeks worth of training. For the first time in this entire playthrough, as I didn't have the staff for it until recently, it's been a couple months, maybe a few months already since we hired someone, but they've finally come through with sponsorship offers for Clarice. 3 racket offers, each giving us a different range of choice and what we could have out of it. A Wilson contract is 2 seasons. The monthly amount is decent at $1,800, but it's a small sign-on fee, and the bonuses are the smallest of the 3. Head is the longest contract with 4 seasons, and it has the most value overall. The monthly amount is higher, the sign on the dotted line amount is higher, and the season bonuses, maximum possible, are also higher. But it also has the most difficult to achieve goals, including trying to climb into the top 10 of the rankings, which Clarice will absolutely get there eventually, but she's not going to get there anytime soon. Their definition of seasons, big ask on that one, and I think it's not about a year. I think they're talking about seasons, as in you go from the hard season to the clay season to the grass season. So 4 seasons, that's about a year, but I can see our value going up over time, our marketing value, and getting better offers later on. So I wouldn't mind taking one of the shorter contracts. And of those, narratively speaking, I think the best option, it's got the best bonuses involved. It's easier to achieve objectives. And our Tango by Decathlon. So, I know this company's out there, it exists. I'm not the only one utilizing the name Decathlon, but hey, it's a shared space. And they're sharing that space with me. So we're going to go ahead and sign this one just because narratively I could sponsor myself. In the clothing offers department, the contracts are similar in length, with only 1 season separating the 3. They are similar in objective as well. Top 15 versus the top 10 ranking is not substantially different, and therefore, if all things are created more or less equal, the choice is easy for me, not only from a financial standpoint with the Nike one being significantly higher, but my personal ties to Nike make me pretty dang loyal to them. As you can see here, I attended the University of Oregon, aka Nike U. Phil Knight, the co-founder, Bill Bowerman, the other co-founder, Bill Bowerman, longtime legendary track coach at University of Oregon. Phil Knight, track athlete at University of Oregon, Oregon product. Nike headquarters in a very near distance to my home. It's Nike. I wear Nike stuff most of the time. Not all the time. I'm not that obsessive, but yeah. If it's a choice, even if it's a slightly less than equal choice, I would still take it just because that's me. The average did go from about a 0.35 to 0.55 ish. I mean, almost 2/10 of a point gain. That's really not that much. 3 weeks of training, I do think we are at a stage. No, I don't think. I know. We are at a stage now where the attributes are high enough that the gains are more gradual than what they used to be. We don't pick up points super fast. If I were to train our lowest ones, the drop shot, the hot shots, the stamina, right, the ones that are still in single digits, if I were to train those, they would go pretty fast. But even those go slower than what they used to, right? The stamina was once upon a time a 5 or a 6. Those first levels came absurdly fast. Narratively speaking, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But if you are trying to maximize, if you are really trying to just win the game, when you create your athlete, I would recommend min-maxing. Take a few attributes, key attributes, the ones you really want, and get them as high as you can. And do that by dropping a number of attributes, like all the skill shots as a perfect example. The stamina as another really good example. Drop them to the lowest amount possible, make them a 1, and redistribute those attribute points elsewhere. What that's going to end up doing for you, while being horribly unbalanced early on and maybe finding a few struggles, it's going to make you strong in the areas you need to be if you pick the attributes that are going to make you good for a play style, such as what I do with Clarice, where I focus on her speed, when I focus on her physicals to get her to the ball, and then I focus on her mentals to know what to do, to have the right position, to anticipate, and to just avoid being beat. Then use tactics to push her over the top and beat opponents. It's helped immensely. We're in the top 50 in the rankings now, and she's still very young. She's still only 3.5 stars, and yet we're the top 50 in the world. We're not top 50 in the world, quality-wise, at all. But that distribution has made a big difference. That was with an even balanced distribution to begin with. If you were to min-max, what you're doing with the min-max is you're putting attributes that are harder to gain over time to a higher level. And then once you start gaining XP, those lower ones, those ones that you set to 1, they are going to level up incredibly fast. You could take your first season and you could have a number of high attributes which are going to make you competitive to a standpoint, but you have a lot of 1s, so okay, maybe you're not great. You take that first season and do some training, those 1s, you're going to rapidly get everything to a 10 or more because things slow down the higher you get. But those attribute points don't have to be distributed evenly. So if you distribute them evenly and you start from there, you're taking the easy attribute points away from yourself. And you're having to get the hard ones. If you take some of the hard ones and save yourself the easy ones, right? You get what I'm saying with that? Anyway, narratively wise, doesn't work great. But if you were all about gaming the system and just winning, that would be the way to do it. That's absolutely the way to do it. Anyway, here we go. Already above the 14.5. It's good. It is gains. We did pick up a point in agility, so now it's 14 plus in everything besides that stamina. And that stamina is already 2/3 of the way to its next level, and it's already to a point where we are better than most of the players we end up going head to head with in tournaments, even higher ranked ones. We find ourselves exceeding what they could do stamina wise most of the time. It's not perfect. It's still, I'd say, 13. 13 is that nice round magic number where you get into the green, where I'd eventually be thrilled to get to. But wasting valuable practice time on it is really not important because it's already enough. It's already enough for our level. When we start getting into 3-set thrillers over and over again with tournaments on the line, high level tournaments, you want to have the stamina at that point. For now, it's still not a big deal. It's a luxury, not a necessity. Just like all those skill shots are luxury things, not necessities. Playing good quality tennis, that's the necessity. Not getting beat, that's the necessity. Swiatek is number 1 and already into the second round of 64. It is Wimbledon, so we are in London. I love how it's London, UK. Is that the mod that did that? Or did they get enough licensing to not be in London, Canada for this tournament this year? I don't remember by this point whether the mod helped me out with that one or whether the devs have sorted that out. Our draw, semi-favorable. We certainly have a good first round matchup with someone at the bottom end, wild card level, one of the lower ones that would be here at Wimbledon. So great opportunity to at least get through one round. Second round, I wouldn't say that's easy, but you're inevitably going to have a ranked player in either the first or second round. So to have somebody at the halfway stage of those that are ranked, not bad. Not bad. It could be a lot worse. Could be better, but could be a lot worse. Certainly not a bad draw, I'd say. Kalinskaya 16 and 13 on the year, and we played her in a final on clay earlier this season and beat her. Took 3 sets to do it too after losing the first set and coming back. So there is a challenge on our hands here to beat her once again. On paper, we are fairly balanced. Ooh, that should have been an ace, but okay, sure. No worries. Second ball's in play. We have every opportunity to win this one and do. It's 30 love in the opening game. Ooh, very quickly getting her on the back foot. That was all about the serve to set that one up. And little left to right, right to left action. Very quickly working against her. We're on the return, and we dominate that particular point. Very early days, very few points played. Ultimately, a tiny sample size. But we are looking very good at the moment in the head-to-head. We somehow start a little tired, and we start concerned. I think mentally some of that is the drop in form in not having played since we were at the French Open. We go back-to-back. Now, these two tournaments are very close back-to-back, but there's still that few weeks in between, and that few weeks in between is where we find ourselves now. So while we had great form, one tournament in between probably would have been advisable. We'll see if that plays a factor. I thought we had been doing so well, but that was the first point we had taken in a while. Trailing here. Nice. If we hadn't made the mistake one, that would have already been the break. That would have given us that nice early advantage. But here we are playing straight at her. Finally, we moved the ball to her right a little bit. And we only had to move her a couple of steps. Wow, she's getting that call? Okay. We were given faults for that. And then she plays one. More out than in. And she's getting the call. That's one that was much more in than out. And right call. But she gets that call again. I've only seen 3 balls on the line, and she's gotten the call all 3 times so far. Not that I've looked at every point, but we have every chance to beat her, and yet we're here struggling to do so. Advantage. Little mistakes on our part, but oh, nice one. That was clean on the line. Not even questionable. It was very much on the line, 100%. 98%. 15 love. Nice. 30 love. Very quickly. The break was hard to come by, but with service. There it is again. More out than in. I think that's the right call. But she's getting the line, and we are not. Come on, finish it off. There it is. 3 games to love. Great start. Great start here. Looking really good in this opening set. Well, let's see if we can continue the trend and finish this first set off quickly. It doesn't need to be 6 love or anything like that, but if we can finish it off at least, 6-3 comfortably, that would be good momentum heading in. 4-2 with serve. This is the one we need. Advantage, advantage. Got it. 5-2. She comes right back, gets that 5-3, but here we are on set point.
Second service.
And there it is.
Second set. 15 love.
Also unfazed, self-assured now, where she's anxious. So mentally a little stronger heading in. By the way, you may notice a little raspiness to my voice today. I'm not sick or anything like that, though there has been plenty of fire from wildfire smoke in the air of late, and that's certainly not good for one's throat and voice. But really, what I'm chance to get broke here. Don't get broke. Oh, we did. She broke us, folks. She could be in a position to do something here in this second set, as she has come out strong and has the opportunity to go up 3 games, having served 2 of them, but breaking us. This would be a great break to keep us alive in this set, though, because you get the serve back and you can come right back to 2-2. But she's come from behind to get advantage. Let's slow this down here. Anyway, the raspiness in the voice, not from the wildfire smoke, mostly. It's from Sophia Smith. For those unfamiliar with the superstar, Sophia Smith is the reigning NWSL MVP. One of the best, and I would certainly make a case, though I won't take the time to do so right now, certainly not on this series, but to sub anyway, arguably the best player in the world right now in women's professional soccer, aka football. We did get that break, by the way. It's 1-2 and 30 love in the next game to draw level. Great way to bounce back after a bit of a hiccup to start. Anyway, World Cup having just ended. Of course, the U.S. Saw a rather early exit, the earliest we've ever had. And Smith, who was part of that World Cup team, and one of only 2 players who accounted for all of the U.S. goals. And one of only a few players who even played remotely okay in the tournament here. That was on coaching. That was on tactics, not on the players. There's plenty of quality on every single one of the players, even though I certainly wouldn't have selected a couple of them myself. They still have quality. All of them. Every last one of them. But when you have a coach that will not adjust tactically, that developed a tactic based on a certain set of players, and some of those players were out injured and did not adjust. Forced players who the tactic was not designed for, who don't fit the role, to play the role that's wrong for them. Kind of comes back to Clarice here, right? Right attributes mixed with the right tactic. You could be a great player, but if you're playing the wrong tactic for the attribute distribution that you have, for the qualities that you have as an athlete, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't match up. Ooh, wow. It was a little more out than in, but we easily could have gotten that call. Did not get that call. I have yet to see one here, though I've not looked closely at every point. Not even remotely close, especially with that sped up section. But of the calls that I have seen, of the decisive ones, we haven't had one call go our way that wasn't at least, 80-90% in, meaning totally without a doubt it's going to be called in. But she gets an ace there with a ball that's half in, half out. It's a 50-50 call. You're going to get that call some of the time. You're going to not get that call. But she's had that call every time. I haven't seen Clarice get that call once yet. But anyway. Not World Cup. World Cup stud. NWSL. So, the Women's Pro League in the U.S. Season ticket holder for the Portland Thorns. So my wife and I were there last night, and it was... Hey, let's add in this little piece just for...
15 low.
We finally got one, but that was directly right on the line. It wasn't even, that wasn't 50-50. That was 100% on the line.
40 low.
It was my anniversary last weekend, or yesterday, and my wife and I were in Victoria, British Columbia. So it's on an island. Had to take a ferry to get there. Had to take a ferry to get back. Got there super late Friday night. Spent all day there Saturday, and then had to catch the earliest ferry very early in the morning Sunday, and then drove all day. Visited a couple Northwest beaches on the way back,
30-15.
and then ended up at the Thorns game straight there, after driving all day, being gone all weekend. And the greatest of circumstances then proceeded to transpire. Matchup of the top two teams in the league, so a 1 versus 2 matchup. And these players just coming back from the World Cup. Most of them on the bench or not even present yet, haven't started training. Smith's been back with the team for 2 days. So she was not in the starting lineup because she just returned from the World Cup. We come out with a different formation. Loved it. Different tactic that worked beautifully. Absolutely dominated early play. First possession of the game, nearly scored. Second possession of the game, nearly scored. Fourth possession, nearly scored. Fifth possession, nearly scored. Things settled down for a couple minutes. One bad pass led to a little quick counterattack. Slide tackle comes in, wins the ball, but then the player trips over it. Ref initially points to the spot thinking it's a penalty. A was clean, but B was actually outside of the box. And then VAR intervenes and tells the ref, hey, you should go check this one out. But look at it, overturn the penalty, and then changes his mind and says that it's a clear scoring opportunity, and so it's a red card. It wasn't even a foul. The player was side by side with her and makes a clean tackle. Second defender was less than 5 feet away and still had plenty of time. She's still dribbling. She's not in the act of shooting or anything like that. Plenty of time to make a play. There's 2 defenders on the attacking player. Red card. They score the free kick. They do nothing else besides for the next few minutes after that, as we were trying to sort out and make a quick substitution and adjust the tactics. The next 5 minutes was the only action they had the entire game. We shut them down for a while and then started to figure out how to play with 10. Leveled the score before half. Second half, 20 minutes to go. 25 minutes to go. Smith subs on. First game back from the World Cup. Early exit. Hero of the city. We, as a 21,000 fan, 21,000 at a women's game, yes, awesome. 21,000 of us just screaming like crazy. Actually, it was 22,000. 22,105. I remember the exact number now. Anyway, 22,000 fans screaming like crazy in support of Smith as she comes on the field. We're not even done celebrating her as an athlete. Play resumes. There's a throw in. She forces a turnover, makes a pass, starts a run. There's another pass, and then she gets the return ball, puts it in the back of the net. 8 seconds, 10 seconds after she has stepped on the pitch. That fast. We went absolutely nuts. Now, all of us sports fans have experienced one of those situations. Here, you can experience that situation. First set, late in the set, sprain an ankle. You almost leave the game. You're going to tough it out. You're going to play through it. But you lose that first set moments later as a result, even though it looked like you were about to win it. Say it's 40-love in the last game, and then all of a sudden you can't sort it out for that next moment. They win the game and they take the set as a result. So now you're playing hurt and you're down a set, and it's like, you battle back and you squeeze out the second set. Just barely. but you're at 1-all. And you come out into that third set and you're playing well. But then you hit that next gear and you absolutely just fly. And you win that set and you win that match. That was that feeling. Now for those who, know soccer, football, and have seen that and experienced that and know what it's like to win a game when you're down to 10 players and losing, to battle back and take that victory when it's the top two playing each other. A lot of us, most of us, have experienced that at some point, and those are the kind of memories that stay with you. Those are the ones that you remember 20 years later, 30 years later. You talk about that one game. Well, we didn't stop screaming support for the next 25 minutes really, but continually just howling for a good minute and a half in support. It was amazing. League history, no team has ever come back from a first half red card to win a game. Period. Regardless of what the score had been. You could be up a couple goals and they have not won. A first half red card has resulted in a draw or a loss every single time in league history until last night. Oh, it was amazing. And my voice will come back probably by tomorrow. Second round of 64, probably will be the end for us for Vertova. Very good. She won her first round match, 6-1, 6-love. We won ours, though, comfortably, 6-3, 6-3. It was good. We have more career victories, but for Vertova, definitely got to a higher level early, very early in her career, and is absolutely the better player on paper right now. Remember, we were playing a little over our head when we're still only 3.5 star quality overall. And as a power player, I think our lack of elite physicality is going to catch us out here. It's good, but it's still not covering our bases. A lot of 14s are definitely not what you need against the top 20 players. And when you're playing a power player, that combination, the anticipation's just about there. I think that the tactical awareness is like 16s. It's not elite, but it's very good. It's there. The reaction time's there, but I think the balance, the speed, the footwork are all still a notch below where they need to be to start competing with the top 20 players. So I have a feeling we're going to be out pretty quickly. Now, her first round opponent losing, 6-1, 6-0, 6-love? I think we're going to win more than one game in this match. I don't think we're going to win a set, but I do think we're going to take a few games, hopefully, per set. Speaking of, we could get that first game out of the way maybe right now. We're struggling to score points against her. We are struggling to score against her. I think we are unlikely to break her at any point. And we'll be broke plenty. Plenty often. But if we can hang on and get a few, that would be an accomplishment. Advantage. That was well played. That was definitely well played. There is a path. You can see there's a place to beat her. It's just replicating it. Tactically, largely us, just with a hell of a lot more power and pace. And there you go. We've been broke so close to that game, and we end up losing it anyway. So I think our Wimbledon dream will end a lot earlier than our French Open dream did. Oh, we broke her and took back-to-back games. It's 4-4. It's 4 games all. Wow. Very unexpected, just from the look of the early play. Facing a bit of a fatigue problem here. This is where that starts to become an issue, right? You start to play the better players, and 1 point becomes a long rally over and over and over again. That's what's going to suddenly become a problem, because we're not great at hitting winners. We're great at staying alive and just working it back and forth, but playing rather conservatively, not terribly aggressive. And that means with that, there's a lot of just Hit. Hey, I didn't see anything first round, but that was a serve there that was a bit long. Maybe more out than in. We have already exceeded my expectations. We do lose the set. But like I said, it definitely went better than expected, so I'm happy. And of course, I'm still very happy after last night taking the league lead. Something we had before our World Cup players left for the World Cup. We have 9 players that were out during the World Cup at one stage or another. Most because they were at the World Cup, some because they were injured prior to the World Cup and were already out, but out now. And those 9 players, I mean, we're talking about like 8 of them being starters. So we were very shorthanded, very, very shorthanded. And among those that were left, one of them is our glaring weakness and our second weakest player at their position in the entire league statistically. I'm not going to throw this particular woman under the bus and name names on this occasion. Go look up the stats if you want to try to figure out who it is that I'm talking about. But it's one of the ones who wasn't at the World Cup for obvious reasons. Not on the radar, not in the pool for national team selection. At this point, I've reached a no-stress situation for Clarice. Her ranking, 39th. Second round Wimbledon, maybe it'll drop a few spots, but it's not going to drop far. Her top 70 is fairly secure. It's not guaranteed, but it's fairly secure. The Grand Slam requirement is guaranteed. The title-winning requirement is guaranteed. We have done those without a doubt. Our national ranking, top 15, currently 7th. Again, not guaranteed, but fairly comfortable. 2 of those need a little attention the remainder of the year. But really, what we're looking at here on the 1st of July is that Thurman is going to be having her goals taken care of. What we need to do to get her to the next level is train. So I'm going to take more time off to train than what I normally do. I might see a couple performances drop a little bit. May see that ranking fall back down a little bit. But if we can stay top 50 or 60, we're great. We're golden heading into next season. Especially if a 3.5-star Clarice Thurman can become a 4-star Clarice Thurman by the start of next season. That is how you get a 39th ranked player higher up the rankings. Not by continually playing tournament after tournament and stealing a few points here and there, playing more often than somebody else and getting ahead of them. Now that we have some sponsors, we do have certain objectives to meet, but I think we've done 14 of our 20 tournaments for the year, meaning I only need to do 6 more to achieve that, and we've got plenty of time to make that happen. So we can take our foot off the gas a little bit and put that foot down when it comes to training a bit more heavily. Now, Urhobo's another matter. She already just gave us her first, let's terminate contracts, why don't we, notice, which was an all too common issue last year. Last year, you say, sure, let's cancel that contract. It wouldn't actually cancel the contract. They would stay on. I did not opt for that. I said, hey, let's see out the contract, why don't we? Which saw her morale dip a little bit and our relationship fade. Her reasoning, 1 out of 4 goals has been achieved. The others have not. Her rationale makes no sense. She's been injured the whole frickin' year so far. Game does not take that into account. I would love to see them figure out how to take that into account, how to measure that, how to take injuries or quantity of injuries or quantity of time injured and translate that into some sort of re-evaluation of your goals, either lowering your expectations or subtracting a goal or decreasing a goal automatically the way that certain other things trigger, right? You won a tournament! Hey, coach, about that share. Gosh, that money looks good. I want some. You want to decrease your share, right? It already does that. So if it could do if this then that type scenarios, I would think it would be possible to a if this then that type scenario regarding adjusting an element of your sports goal that's set for the year to be realistic, to be reasonable. Injuries are a part of the sport, and in Tennis Manager 23, it seems to be a massive part of the sport. From what I've heard in the comments, from what I've experienced so far with Hobo, it seems to be a very common theme to be out injured for a period of time within this game. No matter how well you prepare, injuries are a part of the sport, and they happen. With the frequency that they happen, I think there should be something to deal with this aspect. For now, we have her under contract, but life just got a little more difficult. At least her ranking has jumped by like 300 spots after her latest tournament victory, staying healthy for just the second time all season, having won both of those healthy tournaments. What will she do going forward? Well, actually, no. Her third tournament she just participated in over this 3-week stretch. She won one, and she lost a tournament in the semifinals. So there you go. She's played 3 tournaments healthy now, actually. She's moving up in the world, and she's actually stayed healthy for the longest stretch the entire year. So hopefully we'll make some progress and get going. But 457 is not going to cut it when you need 250. But when she was at about 750, she's covered 300 spots. She's only got 200 to go. She's 60% of the way there. It's not 60% of the points she needs, though, as the gap gets higher. So the necessary points to continue moving up increases rather rapidly, exponentially almost. It's a lot more. So she's going to have to keep working if she's going to climb to the top 250. She's definitely not qualifying for Grand Slam anytime soon with that sort of ranking. We will attempt to get into qualifiers and see if she can sneak her way in the back door through that. And in the meantime, I would love to get into that International 80 tournament. But right now, they won't even accept her requests for that one. I've been denied a couple of times already. As her ranking improves, I've tried to sign her up. It's still not happening. We'll try. We'll get there eventually. That is going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.